Hello and welcome. Let's first look at the passage, then understand the question, and then go ahead and look at the options. Okay, so what you can see here is that there is a blank, okay? And the question is, which one of the following? So you have the options here. Which one of the following completes the argument, okay? So this means that what you have here, is an incomplete argument, okay, and we've got to complete it, okay, and that's completed by the option. Okay, let's read the argument now, the incomplete argument. It says that a century in certain ways is like a life, and as the end of a century approaches, people behave towards that century much as someone who is nearing the end of life does towards life. So it says that a century is like a life, okay? And as the end of a century approaches, so the end of a century approaches, people behave as they behave when they get to the end of their lives, okay? Goes on to say, so just as people in their last years, okay, spend much time looking back at the events of their life. So as you can see, this part relates to the life, okay? People at a century's end. Okay, so this part relates to the century, okay? So it says here in the third line, in the last line, the third line, that just as people in their last years look back at the events of their life, which means at the end of their life, you look back at life, okay? And then it says that at a century's end, people will again look back at the century, right? That's what I can understand. Look back at the century. So now you know that the option that you're looking for has to say this, okay? If you look at anything else, that is not the right answer. So now we know what we're looking for. So we are looking at the option where people at a century's end look back on the events of that century, right? Because that's what we have here, okay? And when you look at the options, it's very easy to pick the right option here. Look, you'll find some options talking about lives, but you know that you need to talk about century because this part, the first part of the sentence, already talks about lives, okay? So you cannot have an option that is A, right? You cannot have an option that is B because it's talking about the lives. Not okay. Then this one talks about the next century, but when you're actually looking back. So next is like looking forward. This is also not right. But when you look at option D, it says, hey, become very interested in the history of the century just ending, which means looking back, right? That's what is history. Looking back is history. Looks like a good option. Let's look at E. It says reflect on how unfortunate events. Hey, nothing about the last years of people makes them look at unfortunate. So you can't add such things out of the blue, okay? So E is also not the answer, okay? So D is the answer.